Okay. First the pan. Never tell if this is on. That's right. Can you guys see yourself?
Snipe?
Do you see yourself?
Snipe?
Do you see yourself?
Yeah. She's there.
Is she taking our picture?
Yeah, she had to scan us.
All right. I have a client that I've had for a couple of years now, and when I first met them, they called me because they were in trouble. They had a person who worked for them who ended up stealing roughly probably around $50,000 or $60,000 over the course of 3 years. This person, they didn't have internal controls on anything, and so what happened was they just kind of, she had the run of the place. She took about 72 checks in 1 year out of a 52. That's 20 vacation checks that she took. These people could have benefited a little bit from some forensic accounting. Had they had someone that could have came in and looked over everything and maybe saw that there was a problem that was going on, maybe seen some irregularities in some of the bookkeeping that was happening, they might have been able to nip it in the bud a little bit earlier. Because they didn't, when they took it to the police didn't do anything about it. Which leads me to one of the careers I would like to pursue, which is a career in forensic accounting, so that I could help people like Stolberg so that they might be able to catch these things in advance and be able to interview the people as necessary so that they can maybe, get justice served as it needed to be. Peter Voigt says in an article regarding forensic accounting, these days there's never been a better time to become an accounting bloodhound. One of the reasons why is many companies are expanding their fraud departments. One of the reasons why is because you have things like Enron that happened where they were overstating the balance sheets and the income statements in order to make it look like they were making more profit than they actually were, so that the stockholders would then go ahead and purchase more stock. A key to success in forensic accounting is communications. Interviewing, listening, and nonverbal communication are all three keys that would help a forensic accountant. Communication comes into play once the blood work is done. The bloodhound work is when you go in to actually look at the meat of the financial statements and see what you can find out that is incorrect in those. From there, what you need to do is go ahead and start interviewing the people that are, surrounding the controversy that's going on with these statements. 4 things needed during an interview. Purpose. You have to know what you're looking for. You already have to have gone through the statements and know that there is a specific thing that you actually need to be addressing with this person and try to get that person to open up about that. Structure. You have to have it structured so that you can keep trying to draw out the information from that person. Sometimes it also ends up tying into other people that may be involved as well. Control. You have to have control of that complete conversation because you don't need it to go into different areas that might not have anything to do pertaining, or, in matter of fact, give the person an idea of a different way of trying to get into a different form of what was going on rather than what the actual story is. The balance of the interview should also be 70% you and 30% of the person that you are interviewing. That way you're not necessarily leading the person on, but you're trying to get them to come out and say what might have happened in those situations. Interviewing goes hand in hand with interrogation. And interrogation is how you're actually going to find out what might have happened, and maybe if the person might have a guilty conscience, they might come out and, come clean and go ahead and you'll find out the true story at that. Your second communication skill that you need in order to do these interviews and interrogation would be listening. One of the things with listening is called paraphrasing. With paraphrasing, what you're doing is you're listening to what the person is telling you, and then you're repeating it back to them so that you're getting a full understanding of what that person is telling you. So that is paraphrasing back and forth. There's no room for error in these because these are a matter of public record, and you're trying to go ahead and, get the truth on this and get the person either, to say they committed the crime or to find out if they didn't commit the crime, so that way you can clear this person. One of the things you also need to do is take notes while you're listening. That way you can, say you go back to the interview tape and you had something that popped in your head during the initial interview that you didn't necessarily think of later. that would be the best way to be able to go back to your notes and evaluate also for honesty in the responses that they had. The third communication skill is your ability to understand nonverbal communication. Nonverbal communication is often unintentional, therefore it's a good lie detector test. A lot of people, when they do things, they don't realize they're doing them, so then you can kind of catch them, and maybe, you know, you can tell if they're nervous if they're talking about a certain subject, and maybe you could just go ahead and evaluate that part of the interview altogether. Interviewing, listening, and nonverbal communication are 3 skills that are necessary for forensic accounting. As Mark Davis stated in Uncovering the Career in Forensic Accounting, forensic accountants must have a comprehensive understanding of business information and all aspects of financial reporting, as well as the skills to communicate the errors involved. They've got to understand what's going on with those financial statements, so then when they go into that interview, they are able to get out of that person what the issues are and what they might have been doing. This is one reason why the interview process is so important. Had I have been an accomplished forensic accountant, I may have been able to get ahead a little bit better with the Stolbergs so that they may have been able to actually prosecute. As it stands, they weren't able to do anything further with it because the police just kind of threw up their hands. But if they had had a good sleuthing person who was able to interrogate her, maybe they might have been able to, you know, get the conviction that was necessary. Thank you.